Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Today is Wednesday, 10th of February. Um, there's a trial that's beginning in earnest in the U.S. Senate right now. I think it has a bit of the market's attention. So, probably a lot of pivots will be seen in the market in and around and through this. Over the short term, don't really see anything too startling. We did have some CPI data that came out, actually, inflation data that came out, and seems to be being interpreted as relatively bond market friendly. Maybe the Fed's sort of warning about runaway inflation was a little bit over exaggerated of late. So the bonds, and ironically enough, the risk off part of the market is actually coming back here a bit here. Um, we did have a TRISOF secret options formula meeting last night. It's really cool. A couple of our OGers talked a bit, and I ranted on for a while. So on Wednesdays we have Kevin on the Daily Brief, and he talks a little bit about some of the ideas we were kicking around in the meeting last night and sort of what he's seeing. And he actually walked us through a really cool Bollinger Band trade setup that he's working right now. So impressed with that. So by all means, I suppose if you want to take advantage of that 30-day trial kind of thing, you could probably pop on and watch that. It's really great session with Kevin. Um, junior market is quite uppy. It's interesting. Just this short-term push, we're really seeing it out of things like the commodity proxies, things like the junior stock market, a real push up here. But the problem is that the bigger picture, the bigger breadth, just doesn't look very happy right now. And you can kind of see we're getting a little bit top heavy again. I guess not so much here, but definitely up here. Where in the short term we're getting a bit top heavy. So. Went through a number of different cryptocurrencies, some that are bottoming that I think are completely buyable versus things like US dollar. But other markets, they kind of look like they just need a pause. Doesn't necessarily mean we're heading into a bear market. It's just there's no way in hell I could buy when the prices look the way they do. And if anything, they keep taking the market higher. I'm just going to keep selling more crap that I have on the books into the rallies. But you know me, I do everything opposite, right? Buying when you guys are all shitting your pants and don't want it. Selling when you guys are all ape shit and going crazy for this stuff. That's just the way I run my business. So I don't know. Call me crazy. Um, Also, too, I think it's important to note that the emotional investedness in the market right now, I find, is extremely high. The only reason why you get emotionally sort of tied up in this is you've got, quite a bit on the line. Always ask yourself, if this trade does go bad, how bad is bad going to look? Because trust me, every once in a while, the shit hits the fan and it gets bad. So that's just 30-year market participant. I'm a chicken shit, risk first approach, actually trying to look out for your own best interests. But oh well. I mean, if anything, I hope all that falls on deaf ears because you guys already know how to manage risk and you're not even stressed about it. I hope that's the case. As for the current market state, as we sort of talked about there a second ago, inflation data came out of the States, not so bad. Actually, basically in line with what market's been seeing over the past while. And I think that's probably what's going to happen here going forward. The only issue is, of course, every time we get a new, stimulus package, that means more bazookas, more fugazi, and more propping up of our economy. And I think that's going to be the theme for the next while. Nobody's going to like it. People are going to get all pissed off. You're going to see prices rising at the grocery store. Like this crude oil price just keeps marching higher. It's not really like massive demand is pushing price up. It's the fugazi of the system. So, welcome to your new reality. My message to everybody on the site is just make damn sure that you're banging out doubles and you are investing in hedges and you can outstrip, outperform the Fakezi. If you can do that, then you're making money. What the hell? And, I guess we're going to probably get into a world where you're going to be measuring your net worth again in sort of real terms versus inflation adjusted terms, which this system kind of got us away from talking about that. But I remember when I was a kid, inflation was like double digits. And so you had to ask everything. Well, is that real money or is that inflation adjusted money? Because things like pensions were indexed to inflation and stuff. So, point here is welcome to the 21st century. Central planning. Uh, you might actually find that, Western societies actually move far more socialist and far more centrally controlled than any of us ever expected in this environment. If these central planners can pull off the growth cycle, then none of you will care. You'll have high paying jobs. You'll be driving your Lambos, of course, because you all bought your Bitcoins, right? Bitcoin will be $1 million. I don't know how many, I guess maybe Lambos will be maybe, I don't know, $4 or $5 million a piece. So you got to have to spend a couple to get them. But anyway, like especially on TRI, like today, for example, I think I banged out like, I don't know, 4 doubles today. That's just me trying to outstrip the Fakezi and outperform. And then, unfortunately, every once in a while, they got to hit the reset button in the stock market, and that's when all the people that chase and stuff like that they get caught, and they just transfer their wealth over to the 1%. Thank you very much. All right, U.S. dollar week. I think more to do with how do I say this? More to do with maybe political overshadowing. And if that turns into a train wreck and we're right back into that nightmare of potential civil war and all that kind of stuff in the US, maybe this ends out and down we go further. As I said, the econs actually coming out today weren't bad from an inflation perspective. I think that's one reason why the bond market actually ticked up here. I don't know whether this is pure econs or politics as well, but interesting to see the stocks did make new highs today. Show me a new high and I'll show you a buy. But they're not really exciting. And if anything, this is exactly like kind of like Bitcoin right now. We're sort of sitting here going, okay, what the hell do we want to do now? Are we really a bull? Okay, well, let's fucking charge ahead. But looking at that chart, you should all look at that and go, geez, we sure have come an awful long way since that last low. Could we maybe W? Is this a W? Maybe. If that's the case, then maybe you draw your reload zone off of that range. And you want to try and be hunting, which makes sense because this is the candle that is the bottom. You want to try and be hunting on kind of pullbacks into this area and W's, inside bars, whatever. So can't chase. I don't even like oil. You know me. I would actually prefer this rollover, but I don't think this is gonna roll over. And Fakezi away, kind of like the same as stock market. In other words, stock market in real terms looks like actually it's not this page. Looks like I was showing you guys this on the weekend shows. It looks like where is it? Yeah, so there's a real, the number you see in the newspaper, and here's sort of reality with all the money printing. And actually, I gave Kevin an assignment today while he was talking to compare what the junior stock market in Canada looks like versus the M2 adjusted stock market. Because if we understand the system correctly in the West, it's all built on this US dollar. And all of these fiat currencies, they're all leveraged to the US dollar. So, in essence, you dilute the US dollar, you're diluting the Canadian dollar at the same time. And it's interesting, we've had a pretty big jump up here in junior stocks. But if you put it in the Fakezi terms, they really haven't moved a hell of a lot. And that's this conversation. Same thing as here. I mean, yes, the media will show you this kind of chart, but in reality, this is what we're doing. And you look outside your window. People aren't very happy. Keep in mind, the stock market is actually an excellent reflection of the actual mood of a country. And I think the mood of the United States of America looks like this. It's not like, we're suicidal, but we really are not in a bull market. And it's sort of like we're stuck in the mud with, social angst, political angst, all the stories, right? So, anyway, if we can get our act together, and I think the United States, is the world's economic engine, so I don't see that changing. And what I really do like about the United States of America is the freedoms of things like free speech are very coveted and they're not given up really easily, which scares me about a country like Canada because under a parliamentary system, our prime minister is basically a dictator here until the next election. And if there is an organized opposition, then he's in trouble. Problem is, there is no organized opposition in this country right now. So, to all intents and purposes, he's basically like a king. Uh, that's not how the United States of America works. We all got schooled that pretty well over the past 4 years. And if you have cross currents of opinion, then really, I think the founding fathers in the United States, what they wanted to see happen was nothing. If there are cross currents and the populace is divided on direction, then don't change anything. And frankly speaking, I kind of like that thinking. And I like all the checks and balances that just sort of keep it in place. Don't fuck around with the system. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. So I do, and also too, what I find fascinating living outside the United States is if you ever talk to somebody who's come from a totalitarian dictatorship country, I'm trying to excuse me, um, every single one I ever talked to, they are so thankful to be here in the West. And they're just over the top about all the opportunities that we have. And now, man, it's going out and having a cheeseburger whenever you want. What a fucking treat. Um, and I can't stress enough how beautiful it is. With all the social angst. Okay, well, shit happens. But man, I sure hope we don't let this candle extinguish here in the West. But that's not really a market commentary. Sorry. Okay, let's get back to business. Sorry about that. Gee whiz, man, I sure am ranting a hell of a lot lately. My apologies. Um, that's not the screen we like to talk to you guys off of. This should just be a quick little summary. So, U.S. dollar weak. Yeah, should be a risk-on environment, but like I said, things going on in Washington. And CPI data or inflation data came out relatively respectable. Risk off, also too catching a bid. Washington, blah blah blah. It's kind of funny how we commented the other day with you guys about how I wouldn't fault people for actually taking this inside bar trade and it's actually working, eh? It drives you crazy. At the same time, too, though, in our video today with the site members, we talked a little bit about how this is kind of looking like there's a head and shoulders or something that just came in here. We didn't break this low, but this pattern right here looks a bit concerning for zibbers, something along these lines. It's not perfect, it's not the best, whatever, but I just kind of saw this. Kevin, you see what I mean? What I was talking about with you in the video today? That's kind of what I was seeing. So I don't know whether you saw that or not. Which means that if this is a head and shoulders, then probably want to probe down into this area here. We didn't break this low though, so I don't know. This might be a trap. Like I said, I wouldn't fault the guy if he was like, that's an inside bar. They were very bearish. They did nothing. Then the next day I go in and I'll just buy that. And maybe even it would be best just to risk the Harami bar. I don't know. But what was really interesting was while Kevin was talking, I kind of saw this and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Boom, boom, boom. And like, actually, really, to draw this correctly, we should go there. And that sort of paints this as an open air down here. So I don't know. Keep in mind, a lot of times when I talk to you guys and I do stuff like this, I'm not really making a prediction. I'm just sort of like, there's some interesting levels. And if I take a trade, I'll take a trade, and I'll tell everybody, especially site members, I post and blog and all that shit. This is just me kind of talking out my butt. I mean, I don't really want to be long gold right now, but like I said, I wouldn't fault the guy if he did come in and try and take that trade, which actually makes sense too, because really all that trade is just doing is asking for a test of that channel again. At the same time, too, I don't like how that's basically a big M, and how they really tried to test it, and now this is potentially putting in another M. If we break through that, then you're going to get M within M. And it's just bearish. The market's talking to us. The market's not happy. Um, so anyway, that's the gold market right now, and of course, I had a lot of fun trading the gold there a little bit ago. Well, actually, it was silver, wasn't it? And since that event, really, I've kind of looked at this space and kind of gone, yuck, I don't want to touch any of this. Look at this SRAX. Like, this is a blockchain stock. If you're a blockchain bull, this is exactly what you want to see out of the stock market. Is you want to see these blockchain stocks turn this slide around and start pointing this market back up. That was pretty darn impressed when I saw that. But son of a bitch, if you're a fan of Foggenbaum's telling you it wants to break this high with this 901 objective. But if it does break this high, then Foggenbaum kicks in off of this, which is telling us it wants to go to $34. Fuck me. This crazy market. I mean, and if that does happen, Brian, he's going to be selling the whole damn way up, making money from trading. So what the hell? I mean, you want to do that? Fucking A. And I'm not really here to say that this rally's over. And really, you could argue, you look at this chart off a longer term, maybe this thing's just getting started. Who fucking knows? We are coming up into resistance here, so it would make sense. But you can see I got my next sell order working. If they want to take these higher, fine. I was actually pretty pleased yesterday on this one. TRI got a fill here, but they left me behind. So I got my fill yesterday here, so I was super stoked about that. But that's the kind of business that I do, right? I'm not going to be buying up there. I'm not going to buy Bitcoin at 40 G's. I'm not going to buy Ethereum at like 1500 or whatever. But I'll be more than happy to sell you the assets that I have at substantially higher than what I bought them for. That's fine by me. So, but today's just been an insane day, and it's this kind of market. Hey, look at this insanity. I mean, just exploding higher. So you can see I might be banging out another double there. This was just an insane one. Look at this. This is a great example. I mean, this is why I like having these crazy ass orders out here. I mean, technically my next double was, well, actually that's fine, 14 and a half. So I should have been selling in here, but I actually got off there. So that was sweet. But this is the kind of market it is. Look at this son of a gun going. Actually, I was telling the folks yesterday in our call, Jesus, that thing looks like it's about to go nuts. And if this thing breaks that level there, then that means we got to start thinking just some crazy ass levels. Survey says, actually be interesting. Looking at that chart and what I just said there, take a guess before I show you where Foggenbaum thinks this thing's going to go. It hasn't broken that yet, right? So that's 699, and today's high here is 695. So we're close. Just take a guess. What do you think, Kevin? What do you think Foggy's level is? Actually, we just did this off another one, and it was way higher than what we thought. I'm going to guess $30, somewhere in there, maybe $30. You look at that and you go, it's $6 now. You tell me it's going to $30. 41. Is that your guess? All right, let's see where we're headed. Bingo. Oh, that's not so. What do we say? Oh, that's interesting. $14. Well, that's not so big. Oh, that's not weird. Why did I say $40? Did I say 40? I must have said, well, anyway, Foggy basically is 4.669, right? So it's this range, whatever the hell that range is. That's what, $2? So 2 times 4, 469, right? So $8, $9. Uh, okay, well, who cares? Target's $14. Hey, look at that. Did it just break it while we're talking here? 707. So even now as we're speaking here, the damn thing's breaking out. And of course, you can see where we're supposed to be long. I mean, I suppose you could buy this W here. I don't like that trade. I think I'm long. Kevin, did we get in off of this W? I got a feeling we snuck in. Maybe it was right after this FU move. I think I got in somewhere in here. I like it when the W's look like this. So I could justify maybe coming in through this, kind of through here. Can't really justify paying 705 right now. But having said this, could you watch? And this is kind of like Bitcoin. This is very similar. I'm the type of guy, I want these tight little bottoms, right? And the W's, and as soon as it's 712, right? I mean, you're probably, as I'm speaking here, the damn thing's probably going to put on a buck, but I can't chase. I'm not allowed to. It's against the rules. So somebody says, well, is this a buy at 712? And I got to go, well, I mean, you really should have been buying here, maybe buying here, but now I can't endorse that. Sucks. Anyway, kind of cool at this point off of this trend line break. Maybe wait for a nice little consolidation. W if it can just calm down a little bit, and then hunt a trade up into that 14. That's kind of cool. You can see they're coming into 13's the offer. So what do we say? Anyway, we can sit and watch this as it goes, but it's kind of look at that NSBR go. Jesus, $1.30 now. Crazy ass market, man. Enjoy us. I'll tell you that much, by crackers. I don't know what else I want to talk to you guys. Wow, look at this little guy. Oh, getting ready to go. I was so close to a fill on this one. Now, this is a fantastic analogy of a trader's life. You just gotta be patient and disciplined and just wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. I mean, I don't know if this is going to get hit. I will say that if we do go an M out here, I'll probably walk away from the trade. But been watching with fervent fervor 3333, Mr. Tesla himself, and not Mr. Monks, but actually Mr. Tesla himself, his favorite number. I would really like to get a fill there. And let's see if we can get talking when we say the word Tesla about Mr. Tesla himself and not some silly, Barnum and Bailey promoter. Anyway, that's R, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of downvotes over that one. So wish me luck. Mind you, if you like Mr. Monks, you're like, fuck you, Brian. I have fun at this. I mean, who cares? Like, he gives a shit what I think. So I just like to have fun with this, tongue in cheek, get myself into trouble on social media. Look at this crazy ass trade. I think I showed you guys this yesterday. I mean, I was so fortunate to be treated by the universe, and I ran into this gentleman, Chris Forehand, who taught me this model. And then, juxtapose it with TA and trying to buy bottom ends of ranges and understanding W's and stuff. And wow, I am getting treated here, folks. There's no doubt about it. I'm surrounded by beautiful people, and I've got the gift of knowledge, and I've got the gift of freedom of speech. Don't take that for granted, people. And I'm actually very, very fortunate, stunningly fortunate. So thank you, universe. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, YouTube, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Kevin, for being such a beautiful support. Julian, Sjord, everybody. Thank you, TRI. Thank you, Jojo. Big thank yous. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is our resident fundamental analyst. Jamie, he had us coming in down at the bottom here. I suppose I could have strapped on. I know a bunch of TRIs did strap on this bot, but wow, this is crazy. All right. I don't know what else to really talk to you guys about. I know you want me to be all rah crypto here. Um, I'm worried that, like I said, a lot of emotional investment wrapped up in this. If this fractal actually fires, that becomes a sell signal for me tomorrow. So let's see how this goes. If we're really lucky, we just sort of go sideways and things clean up and you guys get your next push higher. My hunch, and whatever it's worth, it's just a hunch, traders, blah, blah, blah. I think we got to cool things down a bit. But we'll see what happens. I don't have any emotional attachment to this story here. I don't care if it goes up or down. It's not really any big deal to me. So as a result, I'm just sort of speaking my mind here. Doesn't mean I'm calling a top. Doesn't even mean I'm actually even talking about a trade. This was a lower time frame fractal that I thought fired through that doji that you saw off of that right there. But the lower time fractal, this is interesting. Through the New York session, they actually found buyers. But then the market went and put in this big old M through the Asian session, European session, and then into the North American session, they broke it. So, because we had actually like three different trend lines all come to a confluence at that level, I kind of felt like, this got to be some sort of pivot. So, if I was lower time frame trading, and this is a fun little model that I've been running this term, every term on the site, I like to pick a different trading model and demonstrate it through the term. This term, it just so happens to be trading with trend lines. And so the rule just simply is let the trend line be broken and then hunt an M following that. In this particular case, we had a bunch of trend lines that were working. They're all broken. So really, it's fascinating how they all came to a confluence at this level, and then in comes big M's. I don't think it's a surprise. Uh, this trade in particular, and I like this setup. It's nice and clean. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the end of the trade, but just get into the habit of booking 2-to-1 profits. You want to sell half, 3/4, move your stop to scratch on the remaining, let the rest go, and then use market structure to get out. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. What's most important is can you book consistently these 2-to-1s? So then that way you've got yourself actually a business model that's actually realistic. And what's really cool with this is just trading these M's. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades, 9 that have closed, only one loser. That's not bad. And I've shown you guys this image though, like all the whole way along here. So, that's a trader's life. I don't even know where the fuck this thing's going, up or down. All I'm doing is following the chalk marks, taking longs and shorts when they come in. So I did find it interesting that a short did actually fire here and it's working away. Who knows what's going to happen? They go break this M, take it to new highs. Fine. So what? That would be one of where are we here? One of these kind of M failures. It happens. Question is, probably not worth getting too further into this in this kind of conversation, but maybe just sit and ask yourself, what is it you actually want to get out of this thing called trading? You want to be a Bitcoin millionaire, billionaire, whatever? Okay, fine. And you're invested in the cryptocurrency story as a way to get out of the system. Okay, fine. But that's not this conversation. This conversation, this guy's here. He's here to make money from trading. And unfortunately, what I see is that, and it probably is an anecdote that the market is heavily long, but I see that when I try to have sort of conversations with people, neither bullish nor bearish, just talking charts. Oh my goodness. The emotional sort of out um, reaction, I guess, is over the top. So that's a bad sign in my eyes. But so what? That's just gnarly old Brian Trader talking. Try and follow your trading plans, right? Just don't take too much risk. I mean, I thought it was really cool. People on the site have recently been coming out going, Brian, why are you so bearish of cryptocurrencies? And I'm like, what? I'm actually buying shit. I bought a whack of this library of credits and sold half on a double. That was a nice little treat. Actually, I stepped in and bought some more of this REPV. Great location. Beautiful trade. Who knows what's going to happen? No opinion. I've been squawking about Digi. Love the look of Digi. Ubic. I mean, fuck, if you love Ethereum, you should be all over this fucking Ubic. So it's not really like I'm crypto bearish. It's just I can't come in on the buy side on something like Bitcoin. And unfortunately, with things like Ethereum, if you zoom out, this is actually turning, in my opinion, this is turning into actually a pretty damn risky proposition here. But so fucking what? It's just Brian's opinion. All right, everybody. I think I'll leave the rant at that. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. All the best. And Kevin, if you could take us out of here, bye for now.